I will never call the cops. Ever. To this day. There's no scenario where I will ever call the police. That is a destruction of our society. Because I'm not the only fucking person that feels that way. I'm not. And they, like, is it my fault?
No, it's not.
I had an interaction recently where, it was of some road rage and someone pulled out a gun on me and they started chasing me and I saw a police officer and I pulled them to the side and they didn't do anything.
He called me.
He
called me and not 911. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
I did call 911, but they didn't. Bro, my girl.
Chill, we can't associate no more.
If we can edit it if we want.
Please, edit that shit out.
We can edit that.
My girl was in the car. She was in the car.
Oh, so she called the police.
Yes.
Now, okay, they say that.
But like I was genuinely concerned for my safety.
No, you should.
But they didn't do anything.
You shouldn't have a second guess to call the police, right? Like that. I guess like you should. That's what you should.
Fucking job.
But we were on the phone with them, but then they told the 911 caller told us to flag down the police officer that we saw, and we did, and they did nothing. Luckily, he saw us pull up to the police officer, and he got off of my back after the fact that he showed me a gun. But yeah, they did nothing. And to your point, you know what I'm saying? It's like they're useless. It's crazy. They're just harassing.
Go to spend a day in Central Bookings. They're very busy. And any Central Bookings in this city, they out there arresting people for bullshit all the time. Right, but I do hear this anecdote a lot. You know, where like people, a crime happens to them, they go to the police and they don't do anything. I have a client who has a case and he was assaulted. There was a gash, there was blood, there were injuries, visible, noted. He called the police immediately after. They showed up and they said they couldn't do anything. That's a load of shit. I've had clients that have clearly self-inflicted scratches or like a mark that get arrested for. So like, yeah, that happens a lot. Police are selective with what crimes they think they can or cannot pursue.
So I've been doing this job for 10 years and I've never understood what makes one and what makes two. Like I'm just like, because it's like
1 times 1 is 1.
It's like
2. My bad.
Facts. Like, what I'm trying to say is that, like, it's like, I've had, like, the amount of times I've had, like, yo, but I called the cops. Like, I'm the one that called the cops. I don't understand how I'm getting arrested. I called the cops. I'm the one that said this is what happened. They get here because this bitch looks sad.
I'm arrested.
I'm getting arrested. This is crazy. Yeah. But the problem is that, like, in these levels, right, like, it really does come down to the training that police get. I think you could talk about their training because, like, they have so much discretion to decide what's what.
Training's half of it. It's culture and mentality. That's the other half. I mean, you can train people one thing, and then when you get behind closed doors with your peers and you have your supervisor or your superior officer going out there saying the shit that we've heard that have been recorded by good cops and exposed, like, training goes out the window. And your job and your career and culture and feeling connecting to this gang, you know, like, it becomes more important than, you know, following the motherfucking, you know, the rules as dictated. And like it's a double. It's like training. Yes, de-escalation training. Yes, knowing like their boundaries, the rights of citizen training, and then there needs to be a culture shift. And it starts from the top down, and it starts from the bottom up. It needs to completely, that is, I think, the competing factors, and we have to really hold both of them up at the same time.
I think that was super important what you just said, the culture, right? Because essentially, when you look at what officers look for in communities, right? Let's use it. You know, I love using examples. So, what our kids right now, what they love wearing?
Jordans.
Nike tech suits.
Nike tech suits. What else?
Hoodies.
Hoodies,
The shiesty
bags.
masks.
shiesties,
Yeah.
right?
Open.
A shiesty is
You know,
ski
the ski
mask.
mask.
Oh, okay.
Let's call it a shiesty. That's what they so.
That's what the kids call
They
it.
call it a
My
shiesty,
wrist
right?
game is up. I know.
Yeah, right? So you got Nike tech suits, hoodies, shiesties, right? 90 degrees outside. Officer see a kid with a shiesty on and a black Nike tech suit.
He fly.
Well, what's going to happen?
He's at level 3.5.
You said, so what is, but what is that doing? Is that criminalizing a culture?
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
100%.
Which
Yeah.
our culture
That
has
is
been
exactly-
criminalized
that is exactly-
forever.
So
Since
that's
slavery.
So that's my point, right? We as a culture are being criminalized for what we wear, for the
How we
music,
talk.
the music, the way we talk, like all of that stuff. So you look at the drill music, right? We could use that as a perfect example, right? These kids don't understand the things that they do and say in music and do and say on social media, videos, and all of that stuff, how that get them caught up in RICO cases. That's a whole different conversation. But I'm just using that
Guilty
as
by association.
by the comment that you made about with the culture shift.
Well,
right?
I want to piggyback. I want to piggyback because so yesterday, and he actually witnessed this. Yesterday, I got a call, 11 o'clock, clients being produced at Queens Raymond's, right? So I am on the LIR heading back from my job, fucking team building event. And I get the call, I'm like, I'm one stop away from Jamaica and I'm 3 stops away from Kew Gardens. So I'm wearing a polo, some 95s, and I don't know.
Jeans.
Actually, not proper court attire.
Okay.
And I run all the way to the court, and I get there, and I'm like, well, I already talked to him. He was like, I was like, yo, you by the area? Can I, if I need to put on, a fucking suit and like a tie over my ball shirt, I would do it. And I go there and I go down there and I let the court know I'm here and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna ask if the judge is okay with me appearing like this. And I was able to get the case called. I was able to get my client out. She was happy. And then I'm hopping on the train. I live in Queens. I live in the fucking Long Island City, that neighborhood that popped up 10 years ago. And I get on the train at Kew Garden on E-Tram, I'm heading down, and I'm dressed like normally. I'm not dressed like an attorney, but I have my court file, the court paper, the arraignment packet, and everything like that, and I'm reading it. And these 2 police come onto the train, and I have headphones on, but they're not playing because I'm reading it, and I just have it on because I'm sneaky like that. Keeping game. Who's talking shit? Right? And so I'm reading my shit, and I notice the cops come in, male and female. I took a picture, sent them. And they come in there, and I hear the cop talking about, yeah, people always getting out of Raymond's, and hopping on this train around these times. And he looks over at me, and he's looking and reading the paper. And I look at him like, mind your goddamn fucking business. And then he looks and he turns around. I'm like, and then I didn't realize they were cops. And then I see him walk away, and I see the vest, right? Cause and I'm like, oh, detective, officer, but he thought I was a person. I just got arraigned and I just got out of jail, right? And that is it's why, because I wasn't wearing a fucking suit. That's the whole immediately. Then he started looking at me like a criminal, and then so he started he went to the back and I watched these cops watch me the whole train ride. You know what I mean? And that goes back to that the criminalizing of cultural behavior. If you don't fit into this lane that you're supposed to look like and supposed to talk like and supposed to act like, you're immediately guilty of something.
I spent my entire teens and 20s being criminalized for sleeping.
On the train?
On the train. Because
yeah.
if you don't understand this, cops are just looking for a reason to search you.
Yeah.
They finding a reason, they looking for a reason. And when I had to go through character and fitness to become an attorney, the motherfucking taking up 2 seats on the train summonses I've gotten in my fucking life is fucking insane.
I've got one for walking from train car to train car.
Talking about criminalizing.
Yeah, no.
to touch on what we were talking about earlier, but when I finally did flag a police officer down, and he started asking me questions. Why would anyone be chasing you with a gun? And he made it seem like he was
right.
he
So
was
you're
criminalizing
guilty.
me, and he was trying to separate me from my girl, and he started asking her questions without me around her. And I had to
What
tell
level
him,
was this, do you think?
I'm not sure, but he was like, "What? You're in a like I said, a high crime rate area. It was East New York,
Yeah, or whatever.
And he's like,
Furtive movement,
why would
and,
anyone?
taking
why
up 2
are
train
you-
cards,
yeah,
and all those
You a
reasons.
victim of a crime. Them crimes in the air.
Oh,
What's
so what did you
going
do
on?
to deserve being a victim of a crime?
Yeah.
And when I got to the precinct, they're like asking me for my ID. They didn't even make the report. I called you. Well, the reason why I called you was because I wasn't sure if I should put file the police report, because there's it's an ethical issue for me, and these are our clients. So like sometimes, but I generally felt threatened I was more concerned about my girl, but the fact that I called you because of the fact that it was an ethical issue for me. I wasn't I didn't want this person to get arrested. When I was making the police report, I kept saying something that seemed to look like a gun. I didn't say a gun. They wanted me to say a gun, but I was like, it seemed like he pulled out a gun. But at the end of the day, they were criminalizing me when I went to, discuss this with law enforcement, and they did absolutely nothing.